Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Standing Room Only podcast. I am here with Healy, myself, Goose. We had a fun week. I hope everybody watching had a good holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Welcome back. This is episode number 10. We have a decent amount going on right now. Again, if you are watching for the first time, welcome in. If you're, if you're already subscribed to us, thank you for tuning in again. On Instagram, Twitter, we are on SR Only Pod. YouTube, Spotify, we're on there as well. The Standing Room Only Podcast.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Healy6. You can follow Goose.
I'm at iGoose with 4 O's. Don't ask why. It is what it is. So we had a couple. We can start off with baseball.
Yeah, we can start off with the signing.
Yeah.
There was Edwin Encarnacion going to the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
Big move for them. A little, for me, unusual signing for them. I did not think that they would sign Edwin. They already have like their DH spot filled out technically with James McCann. Maybe that's a James McCann trade. I tweeted out and people are like, why would you trade the backup catcher? You still need a backup catcher.
Exactly.
James McCann was an all-star last year. What does that do? Gives him value. You only have 1 year left with him. Why are you going to store him on your bench? The backup catcher plays maybe like 30 games a year. That's not a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean, for them to go out and sign Encarnacion, obviously he's going to be our DH, whatever you want to call it. They're saying it's a win now type of move. I don't know if that's the case. I mean, they did sign him for 1 year, I believe $13 million.
Yeah, with like an option for like the same.
With an option. I mean, at his age, can he smack bombs? Yes. Was it a good move for them? I guess. He's a veteran. I think James McCann is on the block without anybody really knowing, or maybe it's obvious now. I love James McCann. He did pretty damn well last year. But then, we signed Grandal, so then it's like, at this point, it's maybe get some value for him. Maybe we, some young talent or a pitcher, some bullpen.
Yeah, the catcher market, very weak.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the Cubs have like put Contreras on the block. The Sox will get some talent back. Will it be number one prospects from organizations? No, because the Sox only have 1 year left of control. Could they get back some like relievers and maybe like a young guy that they take a chance on? Yeah, that seems like the more realistic option. To me, I don't think holding on to him is the best move. I think you should get some value and get some other like strengths or like other positions that you need to fill.
Yeah, so he's got the 1 year deal left for 2020, which is worth about $5 million. He's 29 years old. In baseball years, that's not that old. I know catchers wear and tear on their legs, whatever it may be, but I think that's a good age, and he had a pretty damn good year last year. I'm sure teams will bite and give up a good arm or whatever it is. I mean, we all know the Sox right now are looking pretty good offensively. They definitely still need some pitching, even though they had a couple signings recently. But I think that would be the next best move for them.
Yeah, and like before this All-Star season, he wasn't great.
He was okay.
He didn't have like any stellar seasons. This season right here, though, gives him that extra value. If he didn't make the All-Star team last year, sure, you store him on the bench, you play him every other like 5 days. When Grandal needs a bench spot.
Exactly.
Like, it would be cool maybe to keep him for depth. You always need depth.
Injuries happen. You just never know. I just don't know where he's worth value being an all-star and to not trade him and say nobody gets hurt and he just sits there for this 1 year that he has left. What's the point? Trade and get somebody, especially if you're in a win now mentality, quote unquote. I think it would be best if they did end up parting with him. As much as I like him, he's a good player. But that would be the smartest business decision if you're the Sox.
Yeah, the Sox are gonna be fighting for the AL Central. Are they gonna be a contender this year? No. Could they make the playoffs? Yeah. Like they could be like what I said, I think last week, the 2015 Cubs, where they were a year ahead of what they were supposed to do. The Central is somewhat weak. Like, who knows with the Indians? Are they going to get rid of Clevenger at some point? Will Lindor be there still?
Yeah, exactly. They already got rid of who was the pitcher? They just got
Corey Kluber.
Kluber. Yes, they got rid of Kluber. Which he's been, I don't want to say on a decline. He's still pretty good. He's still pretty good.
Well, he got hurt last year, which is great.
And he came back, right?
No, he pitched like 7 games and then he got hurt.
Oh, he pitched 7 and got hurt. Okay. So either way, they're still, I mean, a good franchise. The Twins randomly were good last year.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they hit a bunch of home runs again.
Yeah, I expect the White Sox to be at or surpass 500, 5 to 10 games. That's like my expectation, considering they did pretty well with what they had this year. We saw Tim Anderson step up offensively.
Moncada.
Moncada completely turned it around. I mean, this guy was a strikeout king. He reminded me of Sosa back in the day.
James McCann.
McCann was good. We had Eloy, who was hurt but still hit almost 30 home runs hit 30 home runs.
Great second half for Eloy.
Oh, man. And so that's what you want to see with these guys. And that's it. It does kind of remind me, as you mentioned, of the Sox in 2015?
The Cubs.
Or I'm sorry, the Cubs in 2015, which I was at one of the playoff games against the Mets when they got swept. But yeah, that was a long night. But yeah, it does remind me because they have the bats, they have some young talent who likes to play the game, and now it's just a matter of putting the missing pieces together. And with the moves that they've made, if it's not this year, next year, they're definitely a playoff team, a contender.
Yeah, Dellin Betances, another signing, New York Mets. He didn't really pitch last year. I think he might have pitched early on. If not, he didn't pitch at all. He's had an injury. Should have helped the Mets bullpen when he was pitching. He was a great relief pitcher. I think he signed a 1-year deal with like an option. So if he does perform well, they can keep him for another year. If not, they just got him for a year.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good signing for them. He's only 31 years old. It was worth a shot. In 2018 with the Yankees, he did pitch in 66 games, and his ERA was 2.7, which isn't bad.
Yeah, he was great then.
And then we also saw Cesar Hernandez got signed for a 1-year deal, I believe, to the Indians. So he's on the Indians as well, second baseman. He's not too bad. I actually liked him a couple years ago. He got his batting average up last year from a 253 to a 279. So he did have a better year overall compared to a few years ago. I thought he was actually pretty stellar.
Yeah, Cesar Hernandez, great pickup. He'll definitely be great with Cleveland. They had Jason Kipnis. Shout out to, I think it was Northbrook, where he grew up or whatever.
So. Yeah.
I don't know where he's going to sign. He's just average. I think he'll sign with like a weaker team. He's at that point of his career where he's not sick at the game. He's okay. He's an average player. And if you're sitting at average, you're going to be playing with bad teams probably for the rest of your career. Or if a team needs you, absolutely.
Yeah, you play the bench on a good team, which, I mean, at his age, he had his good years, past his prime, I would say so. But
get that bag.
Exactly. So, I don't think there was too many more signings. The MLB's slowly quiet.
The Reds today signed Shogo. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's a Japanese player, 3 years, $15 million, center fielder. He's more of a contact type guy. He'll hit 20 bombs for you, most likely in the major league level. But he's more of like a contact guy. He'll be like the leadoff hitter for them. What that does for the Reds, boosts their offseason, which they got Mike Moustakas, which is what we've seen.
Yep.
Already a great signing. And then Shogo is going to go to center field. Who knows? Maybe Nick Senzel moves back to second base. Moustakas to third. Suarez has played shortstop, so we'll see if he can play it again. They might have to store him there. I don't know. The Cincinnati Reds, though, they've done a great job. They could be second in the NL Central this year.
Yeah, they didn't look bad last year.
The run differential was good.
Yeah, they started the season with Puig, right? And then
They traded
they
him.
ended up trading him, and so we'll see what they end up doing. Yeah, Akiyama, 31 years old, played in Japan, was pretty damn good. The Reds always seem to be making moves the past couple of years. The NL Central is weird. The Cardinals are always good no matter who they have. Cubs,
We don't know what
we don't know what
we're
we're gonna get. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Contreras is on the block. I love Contreras. He reminds me of a Pudge Rodriguez. So we'll see what we get there.
Yeah, and that basically does it for like the MLB signings of the week. Not too much baseball news. It should be quiet until like spring training starts up a little bit.
Towards the end of February, I think when pitchers and catchers report.
I think end of January too, when arbitration hits.
Arbitration, yep.
When people know how much money they have. Nick Castellanos still on the block. Oh, yeah. Ryu signed with the Blue Jays. Did we talk about that last week?
We did. Yeah,
okay.
He signed as we were doing the podcast.
Okay,
so that was an interesting signing for the Blue Jays. We'll see. I like Vlad Jr.
Vladdy, Bo Bichette, and Cavan Biggio.
They're good though. Those kids are good.
Yeah, they're good, and they're sons of Hall of Fame players.
Hall of Fame players, exactly.
Well, I don't know if Dante ever made it to the Hall of Fame, but he was good. He was good for his span.
Craig Biggio did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Biggio had to be. Craig Biggio played back with
Bagwell.
Yeah,
and
Jeff
Berkman.
Bagwell. Yep.
He was a part of that 05 team.
Oh, that's right. Wow. So the one that the White Sox beat.
Yeah, they swept the season that everyone always forgets.
Yeah, it was a weird year for baseball, and then there was the whole drop third strike. AJ Pierce playing heads up. That's a whole nother conversation. Let's go ahead and transition over to the NFL, the National Football League, the league in which the Green Bay Packers have a first round bye as the number 2 seed. Should have been the number 1 seed, but the 49ers defense had a last-second half-inch stop to not allow the touchdown against the Seahawks. So as of right now, we have 1 and 2. We have 49ers, Packers. In the AFC, we saw the Patriots go down for the second straight year to the Miami Dolphins. What the is going on?
It was in Miami too, right?
In Miami. Was it?
I think so. I think it was in Miami, which they lost in Miami last.
Yeah, let's see. This game ended up being in New England.
Oh, it was in New England.
It was in Foxborough or Gillette Stadium. Yeah.
How did they lose that?
I don't know. The Patriots. This is a defense that has shut down so many teams, minus the Ravens and a couple other good teams. They call him Fitzmagic and we saw that. He had 320 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. They scored a touchdown with 24 seconds left. How they lost, I don't know. All I do know is because of that, the Chiefs now have the number 2 seed. They have the first round bye with the Ravens, who have the number 1 seed. So we're going to have Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Chiefs. You're going to have 49ers, Packers waiting for the wild card round.
Yeah, with Seahawks against the Eagles.
Yes, Seahawks and Eagles. Seahawks are an 11-5 wild card team. Vikings and Saints. We have on the AFC side Bills versus Texans, which I think could be a good game. And then, of course, Titans and Patriots, which I think may be closer than what we are expecting. Do you have?
I think it's Eagles. Yeah, it's Eagles, Seahawks.
Yeah, but the Eagles are home because they won the division. So I was analyzing the matchups. I was looking at the home teams, who plays good on the road. I have one question. What's your projections for the NFL playoffs?
I think the Ravens will make it to the Super Bowl. Out of the NFC, though, it's going to be tough. I don't know, out of the 49ers, Packers, Saints, maybe even like a wild card team like the Vikings and Seahawks, they could both beat everyone in the playoffs.
Exactly.
I think the Ravens, though, they do it. Ooh. The Chiefs are nice.
Nobody's talked about Pat Mahomes this year.
He's been sick.
Nobody's talked about the Chiefs this year. This is a Chiefs team that last year should have been in the game, in the big dance.
Mm-hmm.
There was an offsides penalty. And then Tom Brady does what Tom Brady does, right? Now, the Chiefs are...
I think their defense still lacks.
Their defense is horrible. This is why... Okay, so my predictions, Ravens, Chiefs in the AFC conference, Ravens win only because the Chiefs defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a close game. So I'm going to have the Patriots beating the Titans, and it's going to be Lamar Jackson. Actually, I'm sorry. It's going to be Pat Mahomes against the Patriots in a rematch. Pat Mahomes gets his revenge. You're going to have Bills and Texans. I think Deshaun Watson's going to do it. I don't know if the Bills are going to win. Bills are scary. Like, they actually have a really good defense. Texans against Ravens. Ravens, it doesn't matter who they're playing. They're going to win. It's going to be Lamar Jackson versus Pat Mahomes. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens going to the Super Bowl against... Wow, that's tough. You know, I was very confident in my picks earlier, and I just...
Yeah, looking at it
Yeah,
now.
looking at it right now, it's tough. I'm going to say Drew Brees and the Saints against Lamar Jackson. It's going to be a shootout.
That's what my prediction was going to be.
Is it? Yeah,
Drew
it's going to be a
Brees
shootout.
against Lamar Jackson. The defense going up against Drew Brees and that offense. Drew Brees and Michael Thomas this year have been unbelievable. That offense has always been good. They're a built playoff team. The AFC, I think Patriots and Bills win round one. And then the Ravens beat the Bills. Chiefs beat the Patriots at home. And I think the Ravens end up beating the Chiefs because I think the Chiefs' defense still isn't too great. And the Ravens, they know how to game manage, and they will end up winning.
Yeah, so the Ravens can score at will, or they can just run the football. They can pass. They can do anything offensively. Anything. That's why I'm saying I don't see the Ravens losing. Their defense is good. That's the problem against these other teams.
And their offense is just as good.
As good as anybody else. I mean, Lamar Jackson is a walking video game character. We said it all season. Is he the MVP?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the matchup, what matchup do I want to see? I would love for Patriots, Packers. I would love Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady.
In the Super Bowl, that would be great.
To solidify the actual GOAT. I'll save this argument for another day. I think statistically, and what Aaron Rodgers had to go through, as far as the team around him has had a tougher time. That's all I'm saying. That's my only argument. I don't want to have this argument unless somebody else does, maybe somebody watching. But that's the matchup I would love to see. But what would I bet on? I don't know if Green Bay really has the team to go to the Super Bowl. The Seahawks and Eagles is it going to be a weird game?
Like the Eagles you see are 9-7, but they've been playing great. Carson Wentz has been great.
They were a Super Bowl team a couple of years ago.
The Seahawks are on the road.
Marshawn Lynch ran the ball pretty well for his first game back all season. I don't know. I feel like if I had to pick one underdog matchup, it would be the Eagles against the Seahawks. And I think the Seahawks have played very good football. I believe the Eagles will beat the Seahawks before the Vikings beat the Saints. I don't think the Vikings stand a chance against the Saints.
I don't either. Kirk Cousins in primetime, no. Also, the Seahawks, they've lost 2 in a row. One, they should have beat the 49ers at home.
Yeah.
But they did lose the week before to the Cardinals. And I think it was a pretty bad loss.
Yeah. The Cardinals held the lead. It was like 27-17 or somewhere around about most of the game. The Cardinals held the lead. And this is a Cardinals team that really isn't, I don't want to say they're bad because they do have talent, but they're not that good. Kenyon Drake, I know, had a pretty good run in that game, and Kyler Murray had a couple good passes. But, ultimately, it's going to come down to Saints versus Packers in the second round. Eagles, 49ers. 49ers winning. Saints beating the Packers. I hate to say it, but if I had a gamble, if I was a gambling man, I would definitely say 49ers Saints in the NFC conference game. Saints winning the second shootout this time because the 49ers won in the regular season.
Yeah.
It'd just be nice to see Drew Brees go out on top with another Super Bowl to kind of solidify his Hall of Fame status. We already know he's a Hall of Famer. He's broke records. We had a fan reach out, Jeremy, asking, is Drew Brees the most accurate quarterback
of all time? I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah.
Every year, he always has great completion percentages. There's a reason why he's always like in the top 5 for yards, it seems like every year. He broke the record for passing yards in a season once. I think he got close twice. He's just been ridiculous ever since he went to the Saints. He was good with the Chargers.
He was great with the Chargers.
He just had an injury, and they're just like, you know what? We're going to draft Eli Manning, even though he doesn't want to play for us, and then trade for Phillip Rivers. And we'll let Drew Brees walk. Probably the greatest or the worst mistake the Chargers have ever had, releasing Drew Brees, allowing him to go into free agency. Also could be the Miami Dolphins' worst decision ever because they were in on Drew Brees. I think they decided to go with someone else instead.
Yeah. All I know is Phillip Rivers, good quarterback. Drew Brees, great quarterback. Definitely a horrible mistake, especially because Drew Brees had in San Diego, he was not bad.
No.
His last season with them, he had 3,500 passing yards.
Which at that time was great.
It was good at that time. 24 touchdowns, which he probably fell right in the middle of the pack. But since then, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 passing yards season.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
I think he has the record for most passing yards ever.
5,400, 5,476.
That and for career.
Oh, and yeah, he broke that record.
He broke the touchdown
record. He had 27 this year in 11 games. So imagine if he played 5 more games, 2 touchdowns a game, he'd be close to 40.
Yeah.
So
and he had that one game. I think he was 29 of 30 or something, and he completed like 29 in a row.
Oh yeah. That was in
22 in a row, maybe.
Yeah, that was in the let's see, what game was that? Against Indianapolis, if I'm not mistaken, was on Monday night. Monday night was prime time. 29 of 30, 96% completion rating, record, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Didn't have the perfect passer rating, but at that point, do you care? I don't.
No.
So career percentage, to go back to the question, is he the most accurate passer of all time? He has a career completion percentage of 67.6. If we compare him to Aaron Rodgers, he's actually higher than Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
Aaron Rodgers has always had the highest quarterback rating. And Aaron Rodgers is a very accurate passer for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only quarterback that I can think that really has a high completion percentage. But definitely Drew Brees, most accurate, sure.
Drew Brees technically is the most accurate quarterback of all time.
Based on completion percentage?
Yeah. 67.6% all time. Kirk Cousins, number 2. Then you got Chad Pennington, Dak Prescott, Kurt Warner, Matt Ryan. I think that the passing game is so good in today's game and offenses are so great that's why you see so many people high up. But, like, yeah, I'm not going to – if Kirk Cousins ends up being that guy, I'm not going to say Kirk Cousins is the best, most accurate. Drew Brees has just been doing it year in, year out, and you can rely on him.
Yeah, and, I mean, it goes to show, like, if you look at his receiver stats, they don't just catch passes like they're Odell Beckham doing backflip one-handed catches. Like, these passes are there. Michael Thomas does bail him out sometimes.
I think he's the best wide receiver he's ever had.
Oh, hands down.
He had Colston.
Marcus Colston, Joe Horn. He's had good talent, but definitely Michael Thomas is one of the best that we're seeing in the game in a long time. I mean, I don't really know. Aaron Rodgers Is he more clutch than Brees?
It depends.
It depends.
I think Drew Brees has had better teams over Rodgers throughout his career.
Yeah.
The Saints have always been great. Sean Payton, though, and that offense has always been a great system. So
yeah,
it's just so hard with football to actually compare people in like a team sport and like systems. It's not like baseball where each guy gets the same amount of at-bats and whatnot, or like basketball where every guy has a chance to make the same impact. Football, it's like,
it's
all
a
right,
little
you do
different.
your job.
And that's what it comes down to. And that's why when everybody compares, oh, well, this guy has more Super Bowl wins than this guy, so he's better than him. It's like, that's cool. It's a team stat. That team has more Super Bowls. But if you look at quarterbacks in certain, situations and different teams, the Patriots, all their quarterbacks that have played, even when Tom Brady was down, all went on to signing huge contracts.
Yeah, or getting starting jobs.
Or getting starting jobs, exactly.
Jimmy Garoppolo, number 1 seed in the NFC. He didn't play like really at all last year. I think he got hurt.
He did, towards ACL, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Jacoby Brissett,
Indianapolis.
He was sick.
Just signed a huge contract because Andrew Luck retired. They signed Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett's not a bad quarterback.
Matt Cassell.
Yeah, Matt Castle with the Chiefs.
And he went 11-5 with the Patriots when Tom Brady went out in week 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember that year for the rest of my life because I took Tom Brady in my fantasy draft that year.
Ooh, he got hurt in the preseason, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he tear his ACL? Or he broke his ankle? He tore his ACL.
They implemented the Tom Brady rule where you can't like hit quarterbacks below like the waist or something.
Yeah.
Or, like knee level because of that.
Because of Tom Brady. Makes sense. But yeah, the system does matter. Drew Brees, though, I don't think matters. I think he plays anywhere. He's one of the shorter quarterbacks. He's just so talented. So definitely the most accurate. Is he the best, greatest of all time?
No. He should have been in the NFL 100. But the NFL 100 this year, they loved just throwing in guys from the 40s for whatever reason.
It was a
different game back then. I don't care.
Yeah.
The NFL 100 crew this year was so biased towards those guys that started off in the NFL. There are so many current players left off when these current guys are history, and the league's only been around it's been around since the 40s, so 70-ish years.
The National
Super Bowl
Football League, the Super Bowl era.
It's been like 50-something. But
Richard
Drew
Sherman.
Brees has been playing for 20 years. That's a large portion. It's just he hasn't retired yet, so he's not in like that NFL 100 discussion. Same with leaving off like Charles Woodson, and they left off a couple current guys. T.O. didn't get included.
T.O. should be. We need to have this conversation right now. It gets me so frustrated that T.O. has gotten the shit end of the stick and everything. Like, he wasn't the best to ever do it. Like, he wasn't top 3. And people, the media, drilled into T.O. like he's a bad guy, he's a cancer. It's fine. Maybe he was dramatic. He was very dramatic. But when he was on the football field, you can rely on him. There were some seasons where he had some questionable drops, especially when he was with Dallas. But you can never, ever deny the fact that when he played in the Super Bowl as an Eagle with a broken ankle and put up the numbers that he put up, that right there wasn't the most boss shit you've ever seen. And even though they lost, for him to actually show up and for McNabb to have him to pass to, I think right there just says it all. He loves the game. He loves the game.
He was like second or third for receiving and touchdowns all time too.
Yeah, and he had to retire early. He tried to make so many comebacks. Like Ocho Cinco had a comeback,
It was like Randy Moss too.
Yeah, Randy Moss. And, Randy Moss, they said was one of the best 49ers to ever play. And it's like, what about T.O.? Randy Moss played there for like a year. And so for me, as a fan of the sport, aside from the drama and the media, T.O. is one of the best players to ever step on the football field. For him to even be questionable for the Hall of Fame or the top 100 is ridiculous.
I think he finally made the Hall of Fame.
He did. Be wrong. No, he finally did. But he should have been a first ballot in my eyes. There's no reason he shouldn't be.
Yeah. He put up those ridiculous numbers, and he couldn't play as long as he wanted to.
Aside from Jerry, he played next to Jerry Rice and put up good numbers. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. Yeah, was he a cancer in the locker room? Was he a drama queen? Yes, but he was also primetime 2.0. So the top 100 is kind of weird. The fact that Drew Brees isn't in it is kind of weird too. So with that, the NFL, we got our predictions in. We already know who the MVP is. We don't really have much to talk about besides that. Games are going to be on Saturday night, Sunday, or Saturday and Sunday. Be interesting to see what happens there. So, unfortunately, there's no FanDuel picks because, well, it's the playoffs for the NFL.
I think you could still do FanDuel.
You could. It's just those select games. I mean, if I had to put money on somebody, I'd probably go. I don't even know who you would go with. Seahawks, probably Russell Wilson at quarterback. Marshawn Lynch, I'm sure, is super cheap. You could probably sneak him in and then go expensive somewhere else. But yeah, no top picks for FanDuel today. But that's pretty much it, unless there's something else really.
Sticking to football, college football. We don't normally watch it too much. I watched the 2 games over the weekend. I wasn't doing much, so I decided to watch both of them. They have a 4-team playoff format. People want it to be 8 teams. We saw from this weekend that 8 teams would be bad still. LSU absolutely demolished Oklahoma.
It was bad.
That LSU defense and offense. Joe Burrow, the number 1 pick in this year's draft, went off.
Yeah.
I don't know who has the number 1 pick. Whoever wants a quarterback first, they're going to get Joe Burrow. Oh, the Bengals.
Yeah, Bengals have the number 1.
And they're going to draft Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Redskins are 2. The Bengals have to. There's no reason. Andy Dalton. They have that other backup that we talked about. I forgot his name already because he's irrelevant. But they definitely have to draft him. I felt bad for Jalen Hurts because he was such a good quarterback, and he could not get anything going. Anything.
And LSU just decided to demolish them. And we saw in the other game, the 2 seed, I think it was Oklahoma. Well, it didn't matter. It was a neutral site. You had Ohio State versus Clemson. Ohio State had a couple bad breaks, which was very unfortunate. Clemson did come out on top. They haven't lost since Trevor Lawrence has taken over.
Yep.
They won the national championship last year. They're going back. That was a good game to watch. It was very close. The 2 versus 3 seed. They're both like powerhouse teams in their own conferences. So it was great to see that. But like college football in general, we saw the 4 versus 1 seed absolutely demolished. In a playoff game, that shouldn't happen with top teams. One of the reasons why that happened, though, Oklahoma, they're frauds. They play in the Big 12, which is just an air raid offense. It's an easy conference. If you're a top dog in the Big 12, you pass for 5,000 yards on the year. You win almost every single game. You'll have like a couple games. I think they lost to Baylor. I could be wrong. They might have came back against them. They did take an L this year. But like, that's why I don't see an 8-team playoff happening. And I don't know. There's just, it's such a top heavy thing in the NCAA.
That's what it comes down to. It's always the same story over and over. The SEC is the powerhouse, right? It's like you have LSU, you have Bama, you have all these good teams, and then you'll get somebody like Oklahoma
that slips in because Alabama lost against LSU, and then they lost another game. So they had one less loss compared to Oklahoma, and then they don't make it in because they lost to a good team.
And I generally don't watch that much college football until this time of the year. For LSU to put up 63 points, and I'm not like that surprised. Like they put up 50 points, I don't know how many times this year, and they have a great quarterback, Burrow. But 28-63, and there's a playoff game. Like it's almost like Alabama for how many straight years they were doing that to teams, and in the bowl games, and I think Clemson versus LSU is going to be a better matchup. It should be a closer game.
Clemson's definitely great. They come from the ACC, which is a weaker conference.
But it's not as bad.
They're so good, though.
Yeah, Clemson's good. I think it'll be a fun game to watch. That'll be on Monday night, January 13th.
Yeah.
So we have a couple weeks, 2 weeks from
tomorrow or today.
From today?
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from what's today? Monday?
Yeah.
Today is Monday. Wow. Yeah, we have another special Monday podcast. I thought it was Tuesday for the last couple hours. Anyways, but yeah, so that was an interesting that's just it with college football. There's not really much to it. It's usually the powerhouse teams. This next game is going to be fun. But I think we can transition over to the NBA. With the NBA, there's not too much going on. We do have All-Star voting has started. With news, Pat Beverly hurt his wrist. He's reported to miss a few games. Don't really think it's going to hurt the team too much, hurt the Clippers. They have a pretty damn good team regardless. Pat Beverly, though, against LeBron. Did you see that a few days ago or last week when he had the steal? It was a block, and they ruled it out of bounds on Beverly originally at the end of the game. And then they reviewed it and it actually hit off LeBron.
Was it that one where he brought it behind his head or something?
Exactly. And it looked like Pat Beverly did hit it originally, but see, that's there's no stat for that. There's guys like that there's no stat for that just bring that intensity. And you can just tell how excited he was when the call got overturned. That's why I think the Clippers are a very dangerous team. I still think the Lakers are coming out in the West, but the Clippers, with who they have around, are damn near going to put them in a challenge to 6 or 7 games in the West.
It's a lot closer now because LA's lost 4 games in a row. I think they might have won recently. I don't know. I just know that they did have a 4-game losing streak within the past week and
that was
a half.
when LeBron was sitting. Right now they are on a 2-game winning streak. They did get full power back, so they have LeBron, they have AD, the surrounding supporting cast.
Oh yeah, they beat the Mavericks.
They did beat the Mavericks. They shut down Luka this time. Luka, that kid can ball. That's all I gotta say. Denver is sitting number 2 quietly. Nobody ever talks about the Nuggets, and we had a few weeks ago. We had somebody ask, "What about the Nuggets?" And he's got a good point. Nuggets are good. They're deep. They have shooters. They have an inside game. They have Nikola Jokic, the Joker, whatever you want to call him. They're very, very talented on both sides of the ball. They're 14-5 in the conference, 9-1 in their last 10. Between Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, Rockets, that's gonna come down to those 4. I don't know who's gonna come out where because the Rockets are a weird team. We saw on Christmas they lost to Golden State.
Yeah.
Golden State. That team has nobody. They do. I like that they won, and I like that these young, super young core that they have was playing super intensely down the stretch, never gave up on any possession. D'Angelo Russell did what he had to do.
He's been going off.
Oh, man. I'm glad I drafted him. I had no expectation. I thought Steph Curry was going to be my first pick. I missed my pick. I had the second pick overall, and my app wasn't loading, so it auto-drafted, and I got Karl Anthony Towns, he's been hurt too, but he's still playing, and I'm glad because he's having a great year, and I ended up grabbing D'Angelo Russell in the 4th round. Awesome. So, but he's having a really good year right now, stepping up. Is Golden State the worst team in the NBA? Next to Atlanta, for sure.
Yeah, they're going to get that number 1 pick or have a chance to get it. The Nuggets, though, they're going to be like the 49ers to me, where I won't consider them the team to beat until around the playoff. It took me so long to get on the 49ers bandwagon this year just because I wasn't expecting it. And they've shown that the 49ers are the real deal. They are the number 1 seed. The Nuggets, they're going to have to do the same. They're probably going to have to win a matchup in the playoffs and pretty strong,
luckily
4-1 or 4-2 or something, and show me that they're good in the playoffs, and then I could get on.
luckily, with the way the West is right now, it's on the weaker side this year versus a couple of other seasons. The last many seasons, the way it's matching up, they would play Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round.
That'd be a good matchup.
It would be a good matchup, but
for the Nuggets.
I think the Nuggets will definitely take that series 4-1.
Oh yeah.
But the sleeper every year in the playoffs,
The Trailblazers.
the number 8 seed right now,
At 14-19.
I would go crazy as a basketball fan. I would go nuts if somehow they play the Lakers in the first round and beat them, and Carmelo Anthony goes to the next round. That would be.
Oh no!
Oh man, that would be the best storyline, I think, for a player to come back and beat LeBron.
His own friend. He's had to face adversity and so many. I was a Carmelo doubter. I was like, this guy went on the fastest decline. I thought he lost the love for the game. I don't know what it was. And he's actually not bad at all. He's averaging like 16 points a game, 6 boards a game. Lasted longer than you said he was going to last. Oh, yeah.
They're winning games. And in the West, if you can be about a 500 team, which I think they could be, they're going to make the playoffs.
They're 5 below at the moment. They've lost 3 in a row. Also, talking about losing streaks, the 2 seed through the 11 seed in the East they're all on losing streaks of 1 or more.
And you know what that means?
That's pretty funny.
That means the Bulls still have a chance of making the playoffs. To everybody listening, I know I sound crazy when I say this, and I know I sound like a Chicago Bulls fan. I try to speak facts. All I'm saying is they are going to make the playoffs with the team that they have. They will develop an identity. They are starting to develop an identity. And I personally think they will snatch the 8th seed over Orlando. Orlando might end up moving up to maybe ahead of Brooklyn, depending on if Kyrie stays hurt. I wouldn't be surprised that his shoulders hurt the rest of the year. It's only 7th and 8th seed because if you look at their top 6, you have the Pacers 21-12 at 6th seed.
8.5 games up.
8.5 games up. 76ers 23-12. Sixers are not dropping. Raptors are balling out without Kawhi. Miami's, to me, can take any team in the East 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be Brooklyn and Orlando. I don't know which team's going to drop out. If Kyrie plays, I like Brooklyn. They actually have a pretty good team with Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan. They both share the center. Allen kind of flexes to the power forward.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, dude, he's averaging like 23 points a game quietly.
He did that like last year,
Yeah,
too.
last year, but people were saying, oh, well, Karis LeVert was hurt. Brooklyn has nobody. But Dinwiddie's not bad. I like him. And the Bulls, I think, were looking at him at one point and just never made a move, which is fine. We're doing our own thing. But yeah, I like Brooklyn. In the future, too, once Kevin Durant comes back next year, even if not 100, they're going to be dangerous in the East.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see the East is kind of building up.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they continue to do. As you said, Bulls a game and a half back of the 8th seed. Oh man, it sucks because they have a chance. So like for the remainder of the year, we're gonna be looking at that. And like if they do make the playoffs, they could get smacked by the Bucks.
Oh, they're gonna get smacked. They'll get swept in the first round. Boylan hopefully gets fired, but I don't know. Our front office is weird. Their front office, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna look at it as, oh, he went to the playoffs, so let's keep him around. But he's gotta go. They need a veteran coach, someone to work with this young talent. Zach LaVine's turning into a nice veteran for them. I don't know if he's going to continue to be the future for them. Maybe, maybe not. So we'll see. But the Bucks are looking pretty damn.
Did you watch any of the Christmas games?
I did. So I was texting you about the Sixers. The Sixers game was.
I texted you first.
You did text me, but I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you all day. So it was a crazy game because you have Milwaukee.
You want to start off at the top of the. So it was Celtics, Raptors. Celtics dominated. Jaylen Brown went off.
Jaylen Brown, he's having a good year.
Then
we knew he was going to be good.
So that game was okay. It was iffy. I think the next one was the 76ers Bucks game.
Yeah, because I think that one started around like 1:30 our time, so Central Time, which I liked the game. It was a fun game to watch. Joel Embiid, after the game, was like trying to make a case for Defensive Player of the Year, and he did pretty well. He had a couple blocks. He grabbed a bunch of boards. They ended up winning by 12 in that game. They led most of the game. In a 7-game series, I mean, you said the Sixers.
Yeah, I said the Sixers for the finals, which I know it's only one game. It could have been like a blowout, maybe the other way. But that game right there on Christmas Day was the reason why I picked the 76ers over the Bucks. Giannis got shut down, and they couldn't do anything.
Al Horford smacked, I saw 2 threes in a row.
And Embiid had a step back.
Yeah, and you're looking at, these guys are 6'11", 6'10", 7 foot, shooting threes like this, and they still have Josh Richardson. They have
Tobias Harris,
Ben Simmons. I'm glad. I love Jimmy Butler. He's one of my favorite players. He did not fit their scheme.
No.
I'm glad he's gone because he's doing good things with Miami, great things. Philly got better by adding Josh Richardson and letting Jimmy Butler go. Josh Richardson could ball. He was balling in Miami. The next game after that,
I think it was the Warriors-Rockets, which the Warriors won.
Yeah, Warriors won. That was a pretty weird game. I thought it was kind of funny to see, but that's what I was saying. When one of those two guys go cold, whether if it's Harden or Westbrook, they can lose any 7-game series. Not taking anything away that they aren't all, MVP type guys. But as you see, they both aren't on, and you go up against somebody like Golden State who still loves to shoot threes.
And they're a team play.
Team play, yeah. They were moving the ball around. Clippers beat the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good game.
Yeah, it came down to the final couple seconds where LeBron, like you said before, he got blocked, and then it hit off of him to end the game.
And then Kuzma looked nice. So
he went off.
He went off. This is so I mean, even though the Lakers did lose, to see Kuzma go off, knowing he's kind of slowly being worked in because of his injury, he's going to be an X factor in the playoff. Kuzma's good. And then the last game was
Pelicans.
They beat Denver.
Ooh.
They beat Denver in Denver. So that was an interesting game to watch. Brandon Ingram had 31 points in that game. Shot 11 of 18 from the field.
He's so good.
He is.
They should have traded Kuzma over Ingram.
I think Kuzma's going to end up being better. Ingram is good. Ingram's great. Ingram has the experience, a couple years in Los Angeles. He got, he's on a team where Zion got drafted to and is out. Probably going to be the whole season. Brandon Ingram is pretty damn good. The fact that he's lengthy, he spreads the floor, and he shot 7 of 9 from downtown in that game. Drew Holiday can ball. They're not a bad team. They have 9 wins, but next year, I guarantee you they're going to be closer to a 500 team. They have a pretty good genetic makeup.
We'll have to see what Zion does.
Yeah, Zion has to come back healthy first. Again, they're going to sit him probably the whole season. There's no point. Unless they want to bring him back.
And play a couple games.
Dunk contest maybe. I don't know. That'd be nice to see in Chicago, but that's just me being a fanboy. But that was pretty much it for the Christmas games. I would say more entertaining than what I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just going to be the Lakers-Clippers were going to be the only good game. And we knew Philly and Milwaukee would be an okay game, but I like seeing Philly doing what they did there. That was fun to watch. So,
yeah, definitely a good prime time-ish. The morning game was okay. The late game was okay. The middle game, when you're celebrating and doing stuff, you didn't miss much seeing the Warriors win.
Exactly.
Unless you were a Warriors fan. But the prime time and middle of afternoon game was great. It definitely didn't disappoint. It wasn't as exciting though as other years where all the games are just great.
Exactly. So next stop is going to be the All-Star game in about a month or so, month and a half. So that'd be interesting to see. I'm always excited for the dunk contest, 3-point contest. All-Star game is always whatever. We had this conversation before. It is what it is.
Should see some more trades over the next couple months, maybe closer to the All-Star game.
It's usually right
like
around
you could
there.
I could see like a couple coming maybe January, February.
Yeah, there's going to be some moves. It'd be interesting to see because there's some teams that are overloaded with guards and some have more forwards than they should. And I know now it's like the thing is there's not one set position for players. It's let's see how we can move these 5 guys at the same time. So it'd be interesting to see. One thing I do want to point out for today's purpose is Milwaukee dominated the Bulls as they should. Giannis is back. Lauri Markkanen played 27 minutes, had 18 points, shot 50%. So maybe he's coming around or maybe not. We'll see. But that's nice to see from him. Zach LaVine shot 7 of 23. Awesome. That's what I love to see. Not
7 of 23.
Yeah, that's horrible. Kobe White, 7 of 18. He shoots a lot. And you love to see the young guys shoot, but at some point our coach has to tell him, like, dude, you're either hot or you're not, So I just wanted to point that out. So they did take a big fat L to Milwaukee, but I didn't expect anything less as soon as they said Giannis was going to play tonight.
Yeah, you should expect some domination.
1 versus 5, Giannis is going to.
Yeah, especially with the Bulls.
Exactly. So, but that's pretty much it for the NBA. That's going to wrap that up.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it for sports. I don't know if there's anything going on with figure skating. Sorry if we don't target any other sports that our listeners are looking for.
Like hockey.
Hockey's
the last one of the big 4 in North America. I don't know it much. I don't know any of the players. I don't have the time to invest in it right now, and nor do I want to.
Yeah.
So it's mainly just the big 3.
If the Hawks are in the Stanley Cup, I'll watch it, or maybe I'll drive down Quenneville isn't there anymore, but I would drive down the road and see his house get TP'd because he wasn't too far from us. So that was pretty cool to see. I didn't partake in that. I don't want to criminalize myself for anybody listening right now. But I did witness that. But hockey's tough to follow. I personally, it's nothing wrong with the sport. It's an awesome sport. It's a dope sport. It's rough. It's tough. I just never really got into it, and clearly neither of you. So, but yeah, that's gonna wrap it up, guys. I just want to say thank everybody for tuning in, who has continued to tune in. Anybody listening for the first time, family, friends, fans, anybody showing support. We love all of you. Again, if you're not following us, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and Twitter, SR Only Pod, YouTube channel. We upload always the next day from when we launched the Spotify. It's Standing Room Only Podcast. I'm here with Healy on Twitter and Instagram.
The Healy 6.
And I am Goose on Instagram. I am letter I. That's Goose, 4 O's. Again, don't ask why. Just go ahead and stay interactive with us. Ask questions. We love to bring up everything.
Episode number 10. It's been 2.5 months. What it seemed. And yeah, it's been good so far. Continue into the new year and see where this goes.
Yes, sir.